Okay, here we go. All right, now we're learning from the speeches which were given by the Lubavitcher Rebbe in 1991, talking about the Mashiach. That should be the main topic in our minds all the time. Mashiach is going to come and make a good, positive, beautiful, productive, healthy, that you say, new world where all the potential inside of everyone will be revealed. Therefore, it's so important to, as the saying goes, that Moses took the Jews out of Egypt and Mashiach will take the Egypt out of the Jews. All the Egypt means limitations. Yeshlam, we can say that this is hinted at what the rabbis say. Kol yamei chayecha la'avi liyamot Mashiach. It's in the Rebbe brought it down. It's in a Mishnah in Brachot, and it says that there was an argument between the rabbis, and it says that you should serve God all the days of your life. It says something say all the days of your life. This includes also the nighttime, and some people say even including also the days of the Mashiach. That's what it means. But the Rebbe took it a little bit out of context, which that's what Chassidut, that's what Midrash always does. Takes us, and it says all of the days of your life should be devoted to bringing to the days of Mashiach. And the Rebbe stressed that what it means, that all the days means all of your time and chayut and all of your interest, all of your life, your energy should be devoted to bring to the days of the Mashiach, not just to bring that Mashiach should come, but the whole entire period that the Mashiach is going to bring, the whole novelty of the world, like we just talked about. No more confusion, no more disease, no more frustration, no more addictions and aggressions and wars. That's what it is. Kol yamei chayecha. What does it mean? Every single moment that a person is alive, kol yamei chayecha, every moment that you're alive, whether in the daytime, whether in the nighttime, whether you're awake, whether you're asleep, shagam az, then he will live according to when a person lives, neshimat avir, by breathing air. It says, call a neshama talil, like it says, all the souls will praise you, God. Don't say only the souls, neshama, but also neshima. Every breath you take in or out, that a person breathes, shemuchrach liyot, there has to be every moment that a person should be, not, which is not the case eating or drinking. You don't have to eat or drink all the time, but breathing, you have to do all the time, every moment of your life. And also all of the Yomei Chayecha, this is also, it should be devoted to bringing the Mashiach. Pirusha, what does it mean? Shachayut shelo, that your interest, your excitement, every moment, your very life should be bringing to the days of the Mashiach. In other words, not just at the time when a person thinks or he speaks or he does things to bring to the Mashiach should come, but it should be etzem chayusa, your very life itself should be to bring the days of the Mashiach. Now, Mashiach is going to, and a person, you might think to yourself, well, come on, now, how are we going to do this? So, I mean, let's just take a very simple thing now. Now, there's this big argument in the world, who really owns Israel? Who owns Israel? So everybody's blundering around, and the Israeli government gives their reasons, everybody gives their reasons. But the fact of the matter is that this is the whole point of the Mashiach. What's the point of the Mashiach? The physical world, the actual physical dirt of the world belongs to God. God chose the Jewish people, physical Jewish people, to tell the world this. How do we know who a Jew is? The Torah determines it. So here we have, in this physical piece of dirt, the land of Israel, that's where is reflected and proved to the world what God is. God is not just some being up there that he existed a long time ago. He sits up in the mountains and then in Mount Olympus or in the upper realms of heavens or somewhere, and he talks to people by means of, he deals with people by means of other gods or something. We're talking about the creator of the dirt, of the world, the physical, actual world, including all the people in it, including me and you. God is creating every instant of the world. And every instant and every detail of the world is very, very important to God. And every moment is important to God. And God is creating it all the time. And God chose the Jews to prove this through the physical land of Israel. That's why in Israel there'll be the Holy Temple. The land of Israel is a place that proves that God exists and that God is physical in the world, cares about not just the land, but every single human being in the whole entire world. And if there are people on Mars, he cares about them also, because he's creating them. And this is what Mashiach is going to do. Mashiach is going to change the priorities of all mankind, that's what they should be interested in. And that's what's starting now. That's what's starting now, right? Who does this land of Israel belong to? Who does it belong to? If you think about it 1 minute, that whole business doesn't make any sense. I mean, there's so much land in the world, so many places in the world. All of a sudden, specifically on this place, they're arguing. And who owns it? The Palestinians. There's no such thing as Palestinians. There never was such a thing as Palestinians. It's not a human. It's a curse that's given in one of the curses. It says, you Jews have gone against me with a no God, and I'm going to send you a non-nation. It's in Deuteronomy. Where is it? I'll tell you later. The physical world, that's the point. So to say we should think about Mashiach every moment of our life and everything we do, isn't that exaggerated? So it was just, yeah, but it's not exaggerated when you think that every moment of our life and every instant what we are is being created by God. And Mashiach is going to be the one that's going to show us this. So Mashiach, in other words, is not a religious idea. I mean, it also is, but Mashiach is a reality idea. What is reality? Is reality really the creator? Is it the God of Israel? Is that what reality is? Or maybe reality is just, chemistry and physics and, atoms and quarks and, consciousness and spirit. It says, no, those things are just creations. And the land of Israel is going to prove. So that's the whole thing. And the Jewish people, that's the whole idea of what a Jew is. It says, the Yemot Mashiach shekasher, when the life of every single Jew is devoted to the Mashiach, that this brings in an automatic way the days of the Mashiach. The days of the Mashiach, that the essence of the Jewish people will be revealed actually in this physical world. Now, it's a very important thing that Mashiach has not got anything to do, I mean, maybe he does in some way, with going to heaven. It's not talking about going to heaven. It's not stressed at all in Judaism. We believe there is such a thing. There definitely is. And there is heaven and hell and its reward and punishment, but it is not important. It's not important. What is important is this world. If the ideas I just said about God creating the world doesn't inspire you, so there's heaven and hell, there's punishment. But that's only a side thing. You have to bring plural. This hints at the days of the Mashiach. These are the 2 periods of the Mashiach in general. This is what does it mean? Generally speaking, the 2 periods are that everything is going to be normal. Like we said before, there won't be any more diseases, there won't be any more problems, and there won't be any more things. Just natural. The world will be naturally the way God wants it to be. And then there's going to be huge miracles. So eventually there'll be the raising of the dead. This hints at also the many, many elevations that are going to be in the days of the Mashiach. That one way is the 2 periods of Mashiach. Like we say, things will be normal, things will be good, things will be better. And then there'll be the big miracles. But also the days of the Mashiach, it hints at the many, many elevations and revelations that there'll be in the time of the Mashiach, going from strength to strength without any end. People will be better and better and better and better and better, more human, more alive, happier. The Inya and the Kol Mechayecha, because everyone will appreciate the miracle of the fact that God is creating us. It's an amazing miracle, and how God is close to us and loves us, every human being, every moment. That's what it means, Kol Mechayecha. That's what it means, that all the days of your life you bring to the days of the Mashiach. This is expressed, Bekach, in the fact, should take it immediately when a person wakes up in the morning. as there, what shines immediately is the essence of his soul. This is revealed the essence of his soul, right? Etzem and mitziuto, varaka etzem. As soon as he wakes up in the morning, all he doesn't even know who he is, what he is, where he is. He knows one thing: there is. He is. He margish. He feels in his soul the avir, the neshimas avir, just the breathing in air. He feels that's the whole idea of Mashiach. Reality. That's Mashiach. What is reality? Avir shel Mashiach. That's what's called the atmosphere of Mashiach. The Lashon Chazal, Rucho shel Mashiach, like it says, the spirit of the Mashiach. It says in the beginning of creation, the spirit of Mashiach was on the water. We can say Avir shel Mashiach. This whole idea of the atmosphere of the Mashiach. This is even above what's called the light of the light of the Mashiach. The light of the Mashiach. These are the things the Mashiach is going to do. This is like we say, he'll take away disease, he'll take away problems, he'll do, right? There won't be any frustration in the world. There'll be plenty in the world. There won't be disease. There won't be lacking in the world. There won't be famine. There won't be the aggression and depression, like we said before. No, there won't be any more addictions in the world. Those are things Mashiach is going to do. He's going to teach everyone, the Jews, Torah. He's going to bring all the non-Jews to do the 7 Noahide commandments and drop their religions and all that. That's what's called the light of the Mashiach. The light of the Mashiach, this shows on his galus, the revelation of the Mashiach by means of the things that he does. He'll fight the battles of God. He'll defeat all the enemies of God, not just the Hamas that wants to kill our bodies, but also the missionaries that want to kill our souls and the atheists that want to kill our spirit. And then he'll defeat them. It doesn't mean he'll defeat them by destroying them. He'll defeat them simply by education. Masha'inkin, which is not, that's called the light of the Mashiach, things that the Mashiach will do, what he'll bring about. This is not the case, the avir of the Mashiach. What I call it, the atmosphere, how do you call it, the surrounding, the ambience of the Mashiach. More of this indicates on the essence, the very life, the very being of Mashiach. In other words, the revelation of just the fact that there is such a thing like this, even before Mashiach is chosen to be a king, as a Melech HaMashiach, and after his fact that there is such a thing as Mashiach will be revealed in this physical world. That's what's called the avir. That's what's called the avir. I can't really think of a proper word for this avir. Avir means the air. That's what it means. But avir in this case means like the whole atmosphere, the whole feeling, the existence of the Mashiach. Then it begins to reveal all of these things that he does. So in a way, it's interesting. In the Maimonides, he writes that even though the Christianity and Islam is a terrible curse on the whole entire world, and it's totally lies. The whole thing is just total lies, and the whole purpose is to destroy Judaism. But something good came out of it. Something good came out of it, and then from the backside of it. And one of the things is that everyone knows that there is such a thing as Torah. And the Muslims say that the Jews lost the Torah, but at least they did. There is such a thing as the Torah, and also there is such a thing as Mashiach. True, they twisted the idea and they detoured it and whatever it is, but nevertheless, there is such a thing. There is such a thing. What the definition is, they got wrong totally. But the fact that avir, the fact there is such a thing as Mashiach, a person that's going to come and change the whole world, so everybody knows, okay, could be that there's such a thing. I hope he's, according to this, it's understood that the main novelty of the coming of the Mashiach is the revelation of the fact of the Mashiach, Metziut. Like it says, Matzati David Avdi. Like God said, I have found David, my servant. He called Prati and Yani because all the details of the Mashiach, which come after this, how the Mashiach is going to be revealed in everyone, what he's going to do, he's going to redeem the Jewish people, all the things of the days of the Mashiach. Right, there'll be plenty in the world, there'll be health in the world, etc. These come just as a result and a they come as a result, as a side product, so to speak. It's not a side product. Is histafus sham isgalus mitziyoto, from what the Mashiach is, the fact that there is such a thing as the Mashiach. The kululim bo, and they're included in this fact that there is Mashiach. In other words, don't say that there's just the world for sure exists. Does God exist? Religious people believe that so. Okay, so there's the world and there's God. There's two things. What about Mashiach? That's a little bit too much already. That's a little bit too much. Okay, you want to believe it, that there is. It says no. The fact of the matter is no. As real as the world is, that's how real God is. And as real as the world and God are, that's how real Mashiach is. Or in simple language, Mashiach is just as real as the dirt you're standing on, as your consciousness, your being. You exist. You exist. There was a famous French philosopher called Descartes, and he said, I can doubt everything. Only thing I can't doubt is that I am aware. I'm obviously aware. Cogito ergo sum. I am aware, therefore I exist. They translate, I think, therefore I am. Okay, I guess that's a sort of a translation. In other words, the only thing I can really be sure of is that I exist. I exist. Well, Judaism says the fact is that God exists just as sure as you are that you exist. That's how sure you should be that God exists. In other words, your existence doesn't depend on your thoughts or your logic. You don't have to be convinced you exist. Maybe you have to be convinced you're a good person, you're worthwhile. You wake up in the morning, there you are, right before you know anything. You exist. Well, that's how certain you should be that God exists. It's just obvious. There's just no question. And that's also how certain you should be that Mashiach exists. Because Mashiach is going to be the one that will bring this reality, awareness of what reality really is to the whole world. It says everything is included in Mashiach. Just like the moon is born brand new from just this little tiny sliver. That from that sliver comes everything afterwards. Or the moment that a child is born, you don't even know who he is, just comes out. The whole entire child with his whole history, everything is contained in there. Even more, it says all the days of your life you should bring to the Mashiach. That the life that you are should be when you reveal that there is such a thing. This brings to the days of the Mashiach. As soon as you realize that Mashiach is as real as the world is and as real as God is. So let's not talk about God, because a lot of people don't believe in God, but everybody believes that there's the world. I mean, no one says there's no such thing as the world. I mean, there are there are certain freaks, and for some reason, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. There are certain individuals, and it's got spread out a little bit, right? There was even movies made about it. There's what is called The Secret and what the blip is going on. That nothing really exists. All that exists is our consciousness. So that's a contradiction in terms. If nothing exists, then where's your consciousness come from? Where did that come from, right? So that's something, I guess, something like Descartes says, but that's a okay. But you're sure that you exist? Something exists. The fact that there is an existence. So this will bring us the fact that Mashiach is as real as any reality that we know, our consciousness or whatever it is. So automatically, as soon as we realize this fact, this brings to the days of the Mashiach. Can't even sense that the whole existence of Mashiach includes in it every detail of the days that are going to come after the Mashiach, that it's all included in the revelation of the essence of the fact that there is Mashiach, just like the first sliver of the moon. That's what the Jewish people are compared to. The birth of the moon, the first sliver, that's just the existence of the moon. It didn't shine anything up, right? I was reminded of this yesterday, by the way. Last night, there was the sliver of the moon. I don't remember ever seeing the moon so small. It was such a small sliver in the sky. It was almost like somebody took like a ballpoint pen and drew on a black page a a little tiny white line. It looks like maybe it was torn or something. You couldn't even see it was there. The moon was very small, and I remember this whole thing that we're talking about now. It didn't shine anything up. The wolves and the dogs weren't, how do you call it, howling at it. It was nothing there. There was a little tiny thing, but that's the moon. That's the beginning. That's the Jewish people. Something brand new. The existence, the fact that there is God, the fact that there is Mashiach. The fact, and from this fact comes the full moon. Okay, what are we supposed to do? The main thing is what we do. What we do. Since there are the moon already was begun, the Rebbe is speaking this in the beginning of the month of Kislev. That says that the Jewish people, they are going to be renewed like the moon. Now we're already finished with Rosh Chodesh Kislev, the first day of the month of Kislev. The first day of this is the first month of redemption. This is when the first Rebbe of Chabad got out of prison. That's when Hasidut Chabad really started. This is the third month, the third of the winter months. That this is connected to the third of the summer months. When the third of the summer months, that's when God gave the Torah, Sivan. The third of the winter months is when God gave us, through the first Rebbe of Chabad, Hasidut. And this is number 3. This is connected to the third redemption. First redemption was from Egypt. The second redemption was from Babylon, after the first temple was destroyed. And the third redemption is going to be, it says, from Rome. That's the Edom. That's what we're learning about now, Edom. It says that's the redemption after this 2,000 years of exile, after the second temple was destroyed. That's what this is called. And then will be built the third temple, so the number 3. This is the year Tafshin Nun Beit. Tafshin Nun Beit, that was 5,752 years after the world was created. That was when Rebbe spoke this. This is 1991 in Gentile terms. Tafshin Nun Beit, says the Rebbe, this is the initials of, it will be a year of niflot, miracles in it. Our year is Pei Dalid, so there'll be a year of plaot, same thing, miracles, plaot is same. And Dalid, we can, whatever you want to put in there. I put in Gulot, great miracles. So each and every Jew has to add on with more power and with more strength, and especially it says all the days of your life, to bring to the days of the Mashiach by means of this. How do we do it? What are we supposed to do? Because all of our being, immediately, as soon as you wake up in the morning, should be permeated with the life of the Mashiach. Thinking about Mashiach, thinking about how this world is supposed to be perfect, and how if I do one more good deed, it can make it that way. This is the very essence of the existence of every single Jew. This is the Mashiach which is in every single Jew. This will bring to the days of the Mashiach. And it's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning. You realize, before you even say anything, I'm a Jew, I have to bring Mashiach. That's my existence. Even before you think this should be your feeling. I have to do everything I can. That's the only thing that's going to save and improve the whole world. Inyan said this also can be, even in this moment, by means of arousing, a new arousing in the essence of the soul. By means of what? You wake up in the morning. In order to bring to the days of the Mashiach. By means of this, that you add one more commandment, do one more good deed, in order to, in the language of the Maimonides, that you tilt yourself and the whole entire world to merit. And that brings yourself and brings to yourself and to the whole world salvation and what's another word? And protection, saving. Shua. All this is not only in the high, holy, spiritual, mystical things which are connected to the levels of the soul. We talked about Chaya and Yechida, the inner 2 levels of the soul. Like learning the idea, Torah, the Hasidut. That's the Yechida of the soul. That's very wonderful. But Mainly, this is talking about doing simple things. Doing simple things. Let's take it, not losing your temper. One thing, you get sad, not think about being sad. Think about, I'm a Jew, God is with me, I have an obligation to be happy. Don't pay attention to my negative thoughts. Come on, Atina, for instance, charity. Give charity to another Jew. Hakashurim with etzem and tziyuto. When you give charity, this affects the whole entire poor person. His soul, with all the levels of his soul, with his body, his soul in a body, including especially all of the things that a Jew might need in the month of Kislev, in the days of Chanukah, the days of, it says, happiness and praise. Shemosivim b'suda shel simcha. It says on the days of Chanukah, you add on meals of happiness, including also the custom of giving money of Chanukah, like the rabbis did before that. In the meals, they would give out money to people. They would give charity. And we said this before, that charity is a thing which is not in any way only for the Jews. Exactly the opposite, right? The whole world is supposed to give charity. When the Rebbe gave out dollars, there were a lot of non-Jews that came through also. And he gave out the dollars with the idea that you do what I'm doing, give charity. And that'll save the world. Instead of people thinking about themselves, they'll think about others. May it be God's will. And this is the main thing, that in the beginning of this month of Kislev, which this is the month of Geula, of redemption, there will come actually, and in a revealed way, the Geula, meaning the true redemption and complete redemption, and the beginning of the redemption and the complete redemption. Complete means the whole entire world, by means of the Mashiach. Yamod Melech, there will stand up a king from the house of King David, ad until Yitaken Kol Olam will fix up the whole entire world to serve God together. Everyone in the world will be interested only in giving thanks to the Creator who's creating them. Huh? It happens to be the God of the Jews, but the fact of the matter is, we say every day, Melech Olam, he's the God of the world. Like I said, then I will transform all of the nations. This is what's Fanya, right? The nations to call God in one language. Huh? No. Okay, here we go. Let's see what it says. This is Tzfanya. Yeah, this is Tzfanya. See, very good. Then everyone will call out to God. They won't call out any of their other names or whatever. So 1 second, here we go. And like it's also hinted at the end of the Haftorah of last week, when it says, and this is one of the places where everybody got it, but there's really other places. Yechi Adoni Amelech David Olam. It says that King David was about to die, and he had a son called Adoniyahu, that declared himself to be king. And his wife Bathsheba, she said, but even King Solomon's supposed to be the king. And he said, yeah, bring King Solomon in here, and he anointed him. You're going to be the king. And right in the end, King David, it says he was on his deathbed, and they said, long live King David forever. This is one of the places where the Chabad Hasidim got the thing of saying, Yechi Adoneinu Moreno Rabbeinu Melech HaMashiach, that God is that the Rebbe is the Mashiach forever. And everybody in Chabad said it for about a year and a half until Gimel Tom. This is Yechi, long live the King David forever. This is the eternal life of King David that was drawn down into afterwards into King Solomon. The Rebbe said many times that the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe is the Mashiach, and that he himself is just continuing what the previous Rebbe did. Sheshleimuto, by the completion by means of the Mashiach, will be from King David and from the king of and his offspring Solomon. The Mashiach is going to come from King David and from Solomon and from Shlomo. That's what the Rambam says. Shetochna, the whole purpose of this announcing and yelling out, long live King David forever, is revealing the existence, the fact, the metziuto of the Mashiach. None of the details, just the fact. This person is the Mashiach. What he's going to do, that's afterwards. Just declaring, by means of this, and it was just to know that there is a person, and that person is the Mashiach. That's already a huge, huge breakthrough. That's like the birth of the moon. A human being, that he is the Mashiach, he is going to, just like Moses, he's going to gather all the Jewish people, just like the Lubavitcher Rebbe. He is going to do all the things, a human being, that we can point to a person and say, this physical person is the Mashiach. Just like we can point to the land of Israel and say, this physical land belongs to us. Just like you point to every Jew and say, this physical person is the Son of God. Every Jew is the chosen ones of God. Every physical, actual Jew. Even Jews, they don't know that they're. The whole thing is manifestation in the physical world, and not necessarily what they do, but just the fact that they are. By means of this, and afterwards, and that we say, long live the King Mashiach, will come the revelation to everyone what the Mashiach does. Like it says in the beginning of the week, Ve'ela told us Yitzchak, like it says, these are the offspring of Yitzchak, that he gave birth to the Mashiach. Revelation of the existence. That's the birth. Yitzchak gave birth to Yaakov. From Yaakov comes Yehuda, and Yehuda is from the tribe of Judah comes Mashiach. He ba'ofen galui le'in color would be revealed to everyone. Eila, this. Ve'ela, we said, is this. Ad until shekol hashomea yitzchakli, that anyone who hears will rejoice with me. Yitzchak, that was the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe's name, was also Yosef Yitzchak. Lord, and not only that, will bring and cause not just the Jews, but all the nations of the world, Hein abiru de Lavan, whether it will be the refinement of Lavan in Parshas Vayetze or of Esav. Both Lavan and Esav, Lavan was what the nephew, the son of Abraham's brother, right? It was Sora's of Abraham's brother, right? The son of that's right, of Abraham's brother. Lavan was Sora's brother, Abraham's brother. The Ad Vehain, Abiru, the Esav, and also the refinement of Esav was Yaakov's brother. They will be refined, even though they were evil guys. They were really bad. But they had this spark inside of them, like it says, until I come to, Yaakov said to Esav, I'll come to you. Esav said, come, let's walk together. And Yaakov said, no, you walk before me, and I'll meet you in Seir. It says, Rashi says, we never saw this place of Seir. Where did he meet? It says, this is talking about the days of the Mashiach. It says about the days of the Mashiach. What does it say in the Mashiach? It says in Ovadia, the prophet Ovadia. What does it say? The prophet Ovadia, he was a ger. Ovadia. Mashiach. Let's talk about the Mashiach. Like it says, for Olam Moshim, there will come the saved ones, Bahar Zion, to the Mount of Zion, and they will judge the mountain of Esav. In other words, we'll show everyone who the real boss of Israel is. And then God will rule immediately now. That is what we should be thinking about, what we should be inspired about. And that's also what's awaiting us any single second. Something really good, really happy, and it's all going to be ours. 1 second. How do you know for a fact that we still will have jobs for a living? Many opinions that we'll be free to study Torah all day. Rami said there won't be any distractions learning Torah, which means no more illness, no more spend. No, you won't have to spend all day, but you'll still have to fix up the world. So they'll still have to fix job. So in other words, of course, you'll be free to learn Torah all day, of course.
Oh, I thought they said also you'll have jobs.
But also, you'll have the jobs, but that won't be our main occupation, right? It says that we'll still have to. It says it's going to be in stages. First of all, there'll be the nations won't rule over us anymore. Basically, that's already now. A Jew in any country, even the most oppressive countries, a Jew can sit and learn Torah. It's not like it wasn't communist Russia or any place, right?
Okay.
That's basically now. And little by little, the Jews start to internalize this to the point where they realize that, hey, we're free, right? Here, like these Palestinians, they're there because we made them. We gave them land. If we wouldn't have given it to them, we would have just been strong. There wouldn't have been any of these problems whatsoever. We created them. We created the Palestinian people. Before 1948, they didn't have a flag or an anthem or a government or a stamp or a coin or anything. They didn't have anything whatsoever. They didn't have an army. They didn't have a slogan. Nothing whatsoever. There was no such thing. There were people, Bedouins, whatever, as wanderers that were living over here. There was no people. That was a whole thing was just made up by the Zionists. They created them and they made them, not to get into the whole terrible details. And then they gave, here we have, what's his name, gave them land, right? They want to give them more. They wanted to give them more. Sharon forced them to take the land. He made them. And they're building another. So basically, the beginning stage of Mashiach has certainly already begun if just the Jewish people would want it. They would just accept it. So that's the first stage. And little by little, it says that the non-Jews will be glad to do our work for us, but nevertheless, we'll still have to work. We won't have to work as hard. We won't have to work as much, but there'll still be things to do. The world will have to be built. Somebody has to bring the electricity. Somebody has to bring the water. Somebody has at least tell people what to do. It won't be like it is now. And then gradually, it says the world will be. It says that the bread will grow on trees, and that there'll be plenty in the world. It won't be have a need anymore for any lacking. Nobody will lack anything. Nobody's lacking anything, so there won't be any businesses and things like that. It'll be in a natural way. How it's going to be, we'll see. We're going to.
Well, but if being no more illnesses is beyond natural, that's a miracle.
No what?
There being no more illnesses and suffering is
just
even
the
though
fact that says that
natural.
There won't be any more jealousy. That's also above natural, but that's later stages. There's stages of will happen, right?
We don't know how soon it would be after Mashiach comes. People say later. Some people say
we'll see it. We'll know it when it happens. That will know when it happens. But who Mashiach is and what Mashiach is, that we already know. We already have all the criteria. The criteria are there. What Mashiach is supposed to do, what Mashiach is supposed to be, the criteria of Mashiach we already have. When things are going to happen, we'll see. But one thing for sure, as soon as the Jews in Israel especially get it together, then things will change very, very rapidly. Very, very.
Well, I know people that are stuck in the hospital now because of cancer, and if Mashiach came tonight and they can't get to Israel to rejoice with Mashiach, then what was the point? They're going to be stuck and miserable in a hospital with the suffering.
We'll figure it out when it happens. We'll figure it out when it happens.
All be